relation to the projects were not as it is right away. People were just getting, like in this case, people after getting the money, after giving us the documents, their proposals, when they were receiving these monies, funds, when they went on their own, made these changes. Even when they were actually coming to the council to inform the council, they were not even written anything. They were just coming, no, we have actually decided to change this program, and we have even like implemented. So we said, no, you cannot do this. These funds they are actually attached conditions. If you want to make any changes, before you implement anything, you need to inform the council. And what we actually did after this, so first the changes actually was lack of information, partly because we had not actually done the best ourselves in the beginning. And we advised to normalize the situations. That can we put it in writing so that the issue can be documented. And the documents were now brought to my office, which we have actually taken the same matters, went to the same matters to the committee, and the committee approved this. And at the moment, the changes, the programs which they changed, they are actually doing well. Maybe I can ask the director in planning to shed more light on this matter.
Thank you, CS. Thank you, Chair. On the question that what was the reason for the beneficiaries to change the initial projects which they had proposed to undertake, the reasons, Chair, they are in Appendix C minutes that have been attached to the report. The 4 groups being one, Kanambeza, which had initially applied for pottery, and they changed to a hammer mill. The reason for change of that project was that the area was flooded with pottery business, and they thought they wouldn't make as much sales from that project. The second one is Tafikamo, which had applied for a hammer mill, and they had changed to goat rearing. These ones, they had decided that there was a high number of hammer mills within the area, so the sales, or they wouldn't make as profit as they were projecting. The third one was Chitemwa Youth Group that applied for goat rearing, and they were changing to a hammer mill. The reason is that there is presence of human-wildlife conflicts. As members may wish to know, is that CHAMA, we are in a game management area, and time to time we usually have a conflict between humans and wildlife, and they thought their business would be at risk. Equally, Mampuru, it is the same reason. They are changing from goat rearing to oil processing. The reason is of human-wildlife conflicts. They changed, as the CS had indicated. We took the matter to the CDF committee, which identified the matter, and further to monitor how the faring, and we have attached how these 4 groups are faring.
CS, just try to help me, or maybe would you to allay me my assertion that probably the change of projects was as a result of insufficient funds allocated. And are you able to tell me the average amount of money allocated to these, especially the 4 cooperatives that changed their projects? Thank you.
Yes, you may respond.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I will ask the Director Planning to continue where maybe just ended. You can still shed more light on this matter.
Director Planning.
Thank you, Chair. In terms of the amounts that were allocated to these groups, actually range from 35,000 to 40,000, which were in line with their projections, or the budget which they saw that they would do the projects after they would change them. And this is attached to the report, Chair. I submit.
Thank you so much. Honorable Mtelo.
Generally, CS and your team 22 projects. At the start, 7 of them. The allocation is hovering around 500 South Kwacha per each project. Further, 6 projects also. Your management response is indicating inadequacy of funds allocated. Number 1. Chair, in each of the 2 instances, the last, I don't know how you were choosing, the last project will come out as completed. How were these in the first table and second able to finish when the funds were inadequate? The other reason coming from CHAMA, adverse weather. How were these 2 in the same environment? My worry, those projects up to today, sir, they're not finished. They are now at 22. Yes. What do you say over this? When are these projects going to finish? More so that the rains this year are as good as of those olden years. The young ones may not know. Chair, I thank you.
CS, you may respond.
Chair, thank you so much. Appreciate the question from Honorable Mtelo. Why the 2 projects were not completed? They are completed, and the other question is, when are you going to complete these other remaining projects? Let me just start with maybe the whole projects, these which are not actually complete at the moment. What we did, Chair, when these projects were stored for some time, this is the period, Chair, I was actually going to CHAMA. What we did, the Chair, we actually summoned all the contractors. Before we terminated, we summoned all the contractors. And we actually rehearsed, trying to help them, maybe trying to sort, maybe they can tell us when they can do it. And they promised us that we are going to complete the projects. Some were saying within a month, some were saying within maybe 2 months. I think the maximum was about 3 months. We agreed in that particular meeting. Then after some time, after that agreement, we expected all the contractors to mobilize by the site. But we were monitoring contractors were not on the site. So what we did later on, we wrote individual letters that we need to mobilize the sites. If you don't mobilize up to this period, we are going to terminate the projects. And it did not actually work out. We terminated the projects. So after terminating the projects, we now, because we looked at a period, the time the contracts were signed over. Over the delay to the same projects, the contracts were like signed now during the rainy season. Actually, at the beginning of the rainy season, that's the time the contracts were signed, and they were even handed over the sites during the time the rains were actually on in CHAMA. Now, as a result of such, contractors were actually unable. Actually, they missed out a lot of months without going to the site. That was part of the delay. Then later on, when they failed to mobilize, we terminated the contracts. Now, when we looked at the period, we thought the cost of the materials by then they had actually gone up. The engineering department went to the site to revalue the remaining works. After that part, we took the matter to the committee. Committee actually actually accepted, and we took the same matter to provincial government to actually to approve, and those were approved. So at the moment, what we are just waiting is just the funds. Immediately when the funds will be in our account for 2025, we'll be able to finish the projects. Because when you're looking at 70, just small percentage, the projects actually, they are lofty, everything is almost done. There's some small changes. And immediately when the funds will be in the accounts. Now the two projects which were in the same funds, yeah, it's actually, you can say it's complete according to the way the contracts were actually done. The main issue, these projects are just too close to CBD in CHAMA. Even during the rainy season, contractor can be on the site, compared to these other projects where maybe from CHAMA you need to drive maybe from CHAMA CBD 400 km to go and reach the project site, and it's in the valley. But these completed projects, just close to CBD, the contractor does not, he can't even say the conditions are bad, he can anytime mobilize. Then maybe Chair can allow also the Director Engineering to shed some bit of light on the same projects.
Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair. Just to shed more light on the points that have already been raised by the CS, I would also just want to take the committee to the background of how these projects came up. So during the meeting of the CDFC, the engineer's estimates were presented, a technical appraisal was done, and the allocations that were approved by the committee, they were not in line with what those allocations were presented. So I'll give an example of a classroom block, a 1x3 classroom block. So I'll also refer the committee to Appendix 1, and this to Appendix 1, just the page 2, so that what I'm speaking is in line with what is in this report. So after during the CDFC committee meeting, if we read the last paragraph on the minutes, CDFC minutes, after some deliberations, it was resolved that all classroom blocks projects with an estimated cost of 800,000 be reduced to 550,000. So we can see already the difference from 800 to 550,000 for a 1x3 classroom block. So this also affected the delivery of these projects on time. I think the other points have already been raised by the CS, issues to do with late handover of sites due to adverse weather conditions. So I think I want to add more has already on the allocations that these were reduced from the engineer's estimates which were presented to the committee. Thank you so much, Chair.
Honorable Mtelo, follow-up.
Chair, what the director was reading is correct. It was resolved. You are part and parcel of that committee. Chair, now what the director was doing the officers out of the committee to leave the members alone. This was a resolution subject to your advice, not theirs. As you, as the KECO officers, will you sustain with this resolution? Say a classroom block, the one with three shall be built at 500. So I think that's the advice you gave. Now see what it has costed CHAMA. In the first place, 6 out of 7. The other 5 out of 6. Total 11. Not finished up to today. Whether adverse weather or whatever other challenge, that's why CS and your team, you are in CHAMA. Mitete as well. We don't know how many kilometers to reach God, but to those of old age, when they said we want to reach God, it took God himself to say these people are reaching. Chair, I repeat, adverse weather, whatever, don't do two are finished. No, because they are within the CBD. How do we know? You are just telling us you've not put kilometers. Small, then that is okay. So if small, why did you terminate? Someone has done up to 85% with those adverse weather. You terminate. Legal Director of Works, did you demand liquidated damages after terminating? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Yes, CS, you may respond.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, I totally agree with the honorable member on the first point which he raised by Director Engineering, that they rejected and accepted the amount or costs or estimates was yours because you are a technocrat who actually prepared that report. Mountain to be like the government CHAMA, which are dotted to so many areas, and we agreed that 2023 projects funded should have collector amounts so that contractors can easily move and finish projects by the sites. Chair, most of the 2023 projects we don't have challenges here because they were funded, the amount was actually reasonable, and when we awarded those were completed within a estimated period of time. The issue of whether it is actually coming in, because the contractor, when they were going on the site actually doing some works, they did try to compromise because the amount was actually not enough. But those which are, like I said, which we are, those two which were done, even in the completion part of it, Chair, I can inform this committee that we are still going back to those projects. Go and do some bit of works. We will request the committee again so that we can do the reasonable works so that the community will have good benefits which the government has actually given them. I submit, Chair.
Yes. Let's go to page 8. No, we go to, let's start with page 15.
15.
The status of the projects here. The list is 75%. The advertise, seek a longer process. Here is a project which is 85% complete. Why terminate the contract? Yes.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, when I was actually at this page, I think I spoke on this part where I said before we terminated, Chair, we had meetings. Actually, the evidence there on the appendices actually is available. Before we terminated, we sat just the way we are seated here. Contractors were just outside, all of them. We were calling them one by one. Mr. Contractor, sir, your project is at this status. You are almost actually done. Our interest to see to it this project is done and handed over to us. Please, can we move to the site so that we can complete these projects? Some of these projects, actually most of them, there are even some bit of funds on these projects. Maybe 80 pin or 40,000 kwacha on these projects. But they promised to us, no, actually we'll finish. I think maybe just give me, on my part, just give me 2 months, I'll finish. And we were recording. Each time any contractor gave us, we were recording.
Yes. My question is, and you've just agreed there was a bit of funds on this.
Yes.
You have alluded to the fact that the council did not adequately budget for the completion of these projects. My question is, why didn't you cause for variations so that you add more funds and empower these same contractors to finish these projects on time? Because if you look at the action taken report for page 15, are you able to read what you've written there? You read.
Action taken was saying management has since terminated the contracts for the same projects. The terminated projects and awaits CDFC allocation of funds.
And that is the 2022 project.
Yes.
And
constituencies. The CHAMA North.
I'm asking about this one. I note I have page 15 and page 8. This is CHAMA South that we're CHAMA North actually that we're talking about. So answer for CHAMA North. If there will be need to ask you on page 8, we will take you there also. I note that the other one is approved by POGO, but this one is yet to be approved by the CDFC meaning that after it's approved, you still need to write to PLGO. Again, another lengthy bureaucratic procedure. I hope by the time you're getting the approval, the prices wouldn't have gone up, because this is our fear as a committee. So why did we take this longer route?
Thank you so much, Chair. You are very right. Your observation, Chair, is very right. The challenge we had is a contractor who is actually deserted the site. If he had not deserted the sites, we could have actually maybe sat down and come up with these variation issues and allocated more funds the way we have actually recommended.
Honorable Dr. Singombe, then Honorable Mtelo.
No, Chair, I...
Honorable Mtelo.
Okay.
It's not to be repetitious. In your own submission, you said to in CHAMA, 2023, I guess. And then the 25 is taken to some other more monies. What was more prudent? To start yet other projects or to finish these ones? A 2022 child has no clauses. You get another one in 2023. You forget the 2022. Chair, what was so hard to now say, since these are at 85, 65, 75%, CHAMA North or CHAMA South, we have received yet more money. Let's give what we started. According to the CS, they started yet total new contracts and finished. And these are suffering. Why? What was so hard? First to top up, to agree, we have gotten, yes, let's finish and start. It was said, all unfinished projects must be finished first before you start new projects. Even the administration cost. So first they finish for 2022, that's when they come to 2023. Have you submitted your budgets and your financial statement? Because you'll never be funded if you are still holding on to what? To some money. Eat, finish, ask. I end here, sir. What was so wrong? Hard to use the same one. Now they are using the 2025. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, CS.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, maybe let me ask the Director Engineering maybe to shed more light on this part.
Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, CS. Just to answer on why the projects were not allocated more funds from the CDFC, I'll just mention to say that for 2025 projects, These projects were presented before the committee, the additional funding, the additional funds which were needed to complete the projects. And for CHAMA North, they approved, and also POGO also approved the additional funds for the uncompleted projects. For CHAMA South, they are yet to allocate funds for the same. So once the projects are allocated, the funds are allocated, we hope to complete these projects within the shortest possible time.
Any other?
Director of Works, maybe you never heard. I'm grateful that 2025, be it CHAMA North, CHAMA South, you allocate more money. What was wrong to use 2024 and 20?
Yes, Director Engineer.
Liquidated damages.
Did you charge liquidated damages on the contractors who had abandoned site? Yes.
Thank you so much, Chair. On part liquidated damages, Chair, we just want to inform the committee that that part, those smaller amounts which are in their votes, we did not take immediate measure to see how much works were done, and the other part, which is actually where you have funded, we have taken note of this. As we go back, I think on the part of liquidated damages, we'll be able to pursue that matter if there is any contractor who is owing the council, so that we can pursue the matter. If there is any contractor who has actually used his personal money according to our estimates, maybe we'll be able to reconcile with such contractors. But I think for this part, maybe I want to ask if I can take this matter to the planning department. Maybe they can highlight some bit of information which maybe will be of the value to this committee.
Yes, planning.
Thank you. Through the chair, for the time period, that is 2024, 2025, 2023, 2024, where we had the opportunity to present to the CDFC for additional funds, we did present that those findings to the committee. However, unfortunately, those additions were not received by the committee. So I think a time where we actually had a favorable turning point was early 2024, when the committee said, okay, in that case, we have seen the challenges that the contractors actually experiencing, as well as the fact that we through experience, of course, we've noted that the amounts that we had initially allocated were not enough. So in 2025, you can present a full report to us, and we'll be able to take it up. And the other thing, Chair, I think we also have to admit the fact that even the time these contracts were handed over to the contractors, as well as the process of them starting the implementation delayed,
for the advise your management on need to
Not really, but we are in the process.
Yes or no?
No.
Yeah, there is no answer, not really. The Ministry of Local Government. I know that we have a circular to the effect that priority must be given to ongoing projects. When did you release that circular?
Chair, I might not be so specific on the date, but as you have mentioned, there is a circular to that effect, and as you have guided the council, they could have done better on this area to ensure that the additional funds should have been allocated in 2023 or 2024. Further is on the aspect that you have guided. When you have a project at 85–75% and you terminate and you want to reinvent the wheel by engaging other contractors or even advertising, you are losing more time. But if the termination is by the way of expiry of the contract, the provisions are there that you can do an extension by redirect bidding such a contractor. Key also here to observe is, I know CHAMA is, as you have mentioned, is far from where materials are obtained in Irundazi, Chipata. You are also striving to build the capacities in local contractors. So, since you have these additional funds, I'm just thinking here, which other contractors would you get in CHAMA? If these are not the ones that are in CHAMA. So we could be a bit more evaluating these issues on merits and demerits and build these much needed capacities in the local areas, especially CHAMA, CHAMA South, CHAMA North. I know what the terrain is, and I know the database you have on your contractors. So I think take heed to the advice the committee has given you. You have room to do better. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Any other points of clarifications? Honorable Kamondo?
This one actually is just indeed a point of clarification. It may not be a question. On the analysis of performance of desks.
On page what?
On page 40.
Page 40?
Yeah. Through your chair, when I went through, I was trying to calculate how many desks actually were not delivered. The undelivered desks were 1,294 when you add 357 plus 934. However, when you look at the status report for the procurement of desks in CHAMA North, the ones that were delivered is coming to 1,317. So I would like to know why is it that the balance was 1,291 and you delivered 1,317. And also you have also talked about that the reason why on the remedial measures you are saying management will always ensure to engage suitable suppliers to undertake the CDF project. So what lessons have you learned from the previous suppliers? Or what are you doing in order to make sure that the same suppliers, knowing the terrains of the two CHAMAs, that you can empower them or maybe just inspire them so that they can improve on the workmanship? Are you doing that to make sure that you can use the same? Because the reason for CDF to go to CHAMA is to make sure that the local people are also empowered. The people that you are sending to the skills development also get enough skills so that at the end of everything, you use the local people. What is it that you are doing in order to make sure that you continue empowering these people? And also, you have also not indicated whether these desks have been delivered to the would-be beneficiaries, because the GIV or GIN, which are there, are not indicating that the desks have been delivered to the schools. I don't know whether they were just delivered to the deputy's office. Are they at the deputy's office or they've gone to the schools and the beneficiaries are now using them? I thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Yes, you may respond.
Thank you so much, Chair. We have actually learned a lesson on this matter. The lesson we have learned on this matter is the previous the contractors were given sometimes bigger numbers to supply the desks. And we felt, when we looked at the performance on the same, it was full of challenges. The lesson we have learned is that we need to give smaller numbers to the same local contractors. And it was proved to be actually a good setup to deal with the local contractors. When the numbers are small, they become very effective to deliver the numbers actually given. Then if you are to open appendix on number 9, there is actually information regarding the delivery of these desks.
The information which is there is okay. We've gone through it, except that the way you have been doing it, like I said, on the goods received note, they were just bringing them to the council, and the council received them. Now, you have not indicated to which schools these desks have gone to, because the common denominator is that the president said no child should sit on the floor. So now the question which we are asking, have you delivered these desks to the schools? And if you have done that, do you have that proof that you have delivered the desks to the schools that were supposed to be beneficiaries?
Yes. Do you have good received notes or even a letter to acknowledge the desks delivered by the council from the end users?
Thank you so much, Chair. We have not just attached the document, Chair. My office have actually received several letters from the heads acknowledging and thanking the government that we have received this. That information is the information which the council can actually avail to Secretariat. We are very sorry that we have not actually attached here, but it's available, which can be secured at any time.
Honorable Commander, you are done or?
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't even switch off my mic. The other one which has not been answered is actually the desks actually which were supposed to be delivered. The balance was supposed to be 1,291. However, the council received a total, according to the information that they've tendered before the committee, is that 1,317 desks were delivered. So when you look at the two differences, I just wanted them to speak to that. Why is it that they delivered 1,317 and not the 1,291 which were supposed to be the balances for the two constituencies?
Yes, you may respond.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'll ask the Director of Finance to shed more light on this matter.
Director of Finance.
Thank you, Chair. At the point of having the deliveries, I think we noticed that there is a combination of decks for 2022 and also battery of 2023. This is because of the variation, I think, which is on Appendix C, should be Appendix C4, on the monies that were diverted from 2023 from bursaries, which went for DEX procurement.
Honorable Mtelo.
Thank you, Chair. CS, are you now going to withdraw what you have written there? To say these were not suitable contractors? Because in your own words, you have brought out the exact scenario. You gave them larger numbers against their capacity. But here, you've said they were not suitable. I was going to ask, now have you found the suitable ones? And you have now answered. The same who are not suitable are now suitable by giving them. Yes. So are you going to expunge that and replace it with, we gave them bigger numbers, though they were suitable, because we are using the same. What has come out from you is, CHAMA and with the contractors exact. But you told your committee, this, we gave this 1,291 were not suitable. You even write, and they are hearing. If at all they are watching us, then you change and say, no, of course, we overburdened them. Or what should we take? What you have written or what you have said orally? Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes, issues of capacity.
Thank you so much, Chair.
Vis-a-vis suitability.
Thank you so much, Chair.
Chizungu. What is your comment?
Sorry, Chair. We are not trying to mislead the committee. What maybe I can say now, I think the wording on our report is just I think it's a wording which we misdirected ourselves by use of the word. Because we after having the meetings with the contractors, we were just now trying to guide, and we just saw to it that I think the numbers were just big. I think it's just on the wording part of it, that's where we missed it. Otherwise, it's the same local contractors who have actually managed to produce the same.
Any more points of clarifications, honorable members? Suitable versus capacity. CHAMA Town Council, I wish to thank you on behalf of the committee for your presentation and the subsequent interaction with the committee. However, we take note of the governance and financial challenges, such as unspent funds, 15.5 million kwacha for CHAMA North, and 14.2 million kwacha remain unutilized, reflecting poor financial planning. Number 2, project delays. 11 projects remain outstanding, that is 5 in CHAMA North, and 6 behind schedule with an inadequate contractor vetting and monitoring. Double payments, irregularities such as the 24,000 double payment for the Kambombo water scheme due to lax financial controls. Our recommendation as a committee as follows. Number 1, enforce financial controls, strengthen reconciliation processes to prevent duplicate payments and misallocation. You don't need the external auditors to come and capture this. You need to put in measures within yourselves as a council to ensure that you reconcile your payments to prevent duplicate payments. Accelerate project implementation, conduct regular progress reviews and impose penalties for delays. You have taken note of the council of the ministry and the council of your committee. Further, I want to speak to the CDF committees in CHAMA South and CHAMA North, and in the same vein use the opportunity to speak to all the CDF committees in the country. We are being urged to take technical advice seriously from the management, who are technical and professionals. There is no way a committee would bring down a BOQ figure with impunity, for example, from 800,000 to 550,000 without justification. The BOQs are from professionals, and we want to urge the CDF executive committee members to rely on the project estimates that are given to them by the professionals and technical officers of the council, who are the secretariat. If the councils do not have sufficient funds, they are allowed to undertake projects by phasing them. There is no harm in phasing a project because you only have 550. You can advertise a project for 550, and in the subsequent year allocate more resources so that the project does not store, the project does not cost more money. You can imagine the cost to government, the cost to the people of CHAMA North, the cost to the people of CHAMA South on a project that should have costed 800,000 kwacha in 2022. Now it will cost 1.2 million kwacha, or sometimes 2 million kwacha, because the prices of all the commodities have gone up. So this is a timely advice. We have taken note of certain CDF committee members disregarding the technical advice of the professionals, especially on community projects. This must come to an end, because at the end of the day it's actually delaying project implementation and it's causing a more cost to the government because of price fluctuations. So don't comfort yourselves, council officers. We expect you to go and stick to your advice in these CDF meetings. This is why you are there. I've alluded to the fact that a project can be phased. If the CDFC wants to do more projects, advise them to phase the project and not reduce, because then you are causing the project to cost more. So this is a timely warning to both technical staff members and our CDFC members. Improve bursary disbursement, address the 83 to 87 unspent bursary funds by streamlining application processes. The conclusion is that the committee, there was a question by Honorable Kamondo on the acknowledgement letters or good received notes on the desk. Kindly submit this information to Secretariat. Even just 12 GRNs or 12, 6 from CHAMA North, 6 from CHAMA South. We want to satisfy ourselves that you have indeed delivered the desks and the users are indeed using them by acknowledging receipt. We have not seen that, and this report will be incomplete without such information. CS, we have now reached the end of our interaction. I wish to uncap you the immunity that was given to you by the committee. This means that anything you say beyond this point, you are on your own. Thank you so much. The meeting is officially closed. We wish you traveling message. You may say something, but you are on your own. At least you can say thank you so much to the committee member for the timely advice. And you can speak through the mic.
Thank you so much.
That note brings us to the end of today's coverage of the committee, sitting that started in the morning. It started off with Katete Town Council. They did make an appearance before the committee on local government accounts as they consider the report of the Auditor General on the Constitution Development Fund for the Financial Constituency Development Fund for the financial year ended 31st December 2023. And after Katete Town Council, we did have Lumezi Town Council make an appearance before the committee on local government accounts, and it was flanked by Mary Sinkala. And lastly, we did have CHAMA Town Council, and it was being led by Mr. Francis Muziani, his CHAMA Town Council. So that's it. Those are the witnesses that we had. I have more witnesses coming through next week on a Tuesday. And so I would like to thank you so much, as usual, for tuning into Parliament Television. I'm wishing you a lovely weekend. Happy Easter from all of us. It's bye-bye. you.